Disney has just experienced one of the biggest leaks in its history, with dozens of pilots and show bibles that were once considered lost media finally seeing the light of day. And here is everything you need to know about the topic. Enjoy!
Ya llegamos.
Y esto es
Al Preli.
Let's begin with the origin of these leaks, which, to be honest, is somewhat of a mystery. Nobody knows who posted them, why they decided to do so, or how they obtained them in the first place. However, we do know where and when these leaks were posted, and, unsurprisingly, they came from one of the most infamous sites on the internet, 4chan.
On April 25, 2024, an anonymous user shared a total of 70 files, which included pilots, speech bibles, and series bibles for several Disney cartoons. These files cover both well-known and lesser-known series, as well as some that never received approval to become full series. Essentially, if you can think of any animated series produced by Disney TVA, there's a good chance there was something related to it in the leaks. However, in this video, we'll specifically focus on the series that we believe will interest you the most: Gravity Falls, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, The Old House, and Amphibia. So, let's get started.
Several things from Gravity Falls were leaked. First and foremost, we have the entire pilot. But Alfredi, Alex had already shared the complete as a reward pilot in the Cypher Hunt. We know, that's absolutely right. However, at the end of the pilot, the final part of the pilot hadn't been released. Think of it as a post-credit scene, a teaser about what could happen if the series was greenlit. This is called The Next Time On Reel, and although we already had seen part of it, fans began suspecting that the whole thing hadn't been released yet.
Around that time, we had the amazing opportunity to briefly interview Alex Hirsch at the Pixeladle in 2022, so we asked him specifically about this very topic, and he confirmed that there were indeed parts of The Next Time On Reel that hadn't been made public yet. Recently, some new footage of the pilot was rediscovered on the internet. Are there still some parts of it that we haven't been able to see yet?
I think there might be parts of that pilot that haven't gotten out. We made a pilot, and then I made this thing called a Next Time On, where it was like a fake trailer for a next episode, like next season, even though there was no season and new show. It was sort of a way of tricking the executives into feeling like the show was already picked up. So I think some of the clips of the Next Time On made it onto the internet, but I don't think all of them have.
Well, that's exactly what was leaked a few days ago. Those little pieces are part of a fake trailer that gave the executives an idea of what the Gravity Falls episodes would look like. Additionally, the Bible for the first version of Gravity Falls, which corresponds to the pilot, was also leaked. Interestingly, this version lacked many elements that made it into the final series.
For instance, at this point, several characters like Pacifica and Mabel's friends didn't exist yet. But most importantly, there is no mention of the journals, the author, or Bill Cipher. We're not entirely sure, but it's possible that they haven't even been conceived yet. Nevertheless, there are elements that seem to be the initial ideas that would eventually evolve into these characters and plots.
For example, this Bible states that all the strange things that happen are not an accident. Gravity Falls does indeed have a mind of its own, a mischievous soul which collects and protects the unique and strange. This seems to be an early version of what would eventually become Bill Cipher. Also, since neither Bill nor Stanford existed at this point, the mystery was completely different.
Originally, the idea was that Uncle Stan was actually the sworn protector of Gravity Falls, and the Mystery Shack served as an outpost to safeguard the town from dangers. The thing is, Stan is getting up in his years and has brought Dipper and Mabel in as potential replacements to run the shack and protect the town. Of course, he can just outright tell them, as it would blow their minds. That's why he's letting them slowly discover the truth while he plays dumb, and when he deems it appropriate, he will disclose the truth to them. Yeah, although this storyline is interesting, the final version is way cooler.
Lastly, and possibly the most fascinating, the Bible contained concepts for episodes that never came to fruition. Here are some of them. Stupid Thursday. Dipper is frustrated with his sister. They can never communicate. His frustration gets even worse with the arrival of a pair of psychic twins, who vow to teach Dipper and Mabel to harness their twinly skills. But when Dipper and Mabel do finally learn how to read each other's minds, they realize that getting inside the mind of your sibling can be a nightmare.
Big Dipper. Dipper is sick of being a kid, and a crazy gypsy woman with a magical puberty wand causes him to turn 22 overnight. Dipper finds out that being an adult is awful, and needs Mabel's help to track down and defeat the magical woman and get his childhood back.
Sweater of Death. Mabel buys an old sweater and becomes possessed by the spirit of an 80-year-old woman who died wearing it. The newly possessed Mabel starts taking over the household. Unfortunately, her Uncle Stan is powerless to stop her because her newly possessed voice reminds him of his ex-wife Marilyn. Wait, Ida from the old house?
Moving on to the old house, both the Bible and the animatic of the pilot from an early version of the show were leaked, and they have a lot of changes. The pilot is similar, yet different from the series' first episode. In this version, the whole class ridicules Luz's book report until Amity shuts them down. Yes, Amity. It turns out that here, Amity is a witch who is attending the human war as an exchange student, just like Star Butterfly.
Luz thanks Amity for standing up for her, but Amity dismisses it and goes away. However, Luz realizes she forgot her passport and follows her to return it, leading her to stumble into the Boiling Isles. Afterwards, almost everything goes on as in the first episode. Luz is amazed by the Boiling Isles, the guards want to kill her, Luz encounters Ida, and she takes her to the old house, where Luz meets King.
Here they tell Luz the king's fake backstory. You know, the one where King was a mighty emperor until a sorcerer enchanted him with a color that shrunk him. Except in this version, it seems like it was actually canon, as the Bible explains that in the past King and his minions tried to steal from Ida, and so Ida agreed to help him remove the color if he worked for her for a while to make amends for the damage he caused in the past.
Back to the pilot, Ida asks Luz for help to retrieve King's crown, a paper crown that is literally the one from Burger King. The catch is, this crown is at the school, so Luz disguises herself and infiltrates the premises.
Here Luz encounters Amity and tries to return her passport, but right then Amity recounts to her witch friends about a foolish human girl who believed they were friends. Upon hearing this, Luz feels disheartened. The Bible explains that their friendship will develop slowly over the episodes, similar to the original version, but it's worth noting that there's no mention of them becoming girlfriends.
Ida returns and takes Luz to where King's crown is, inside a human locker which Ida doesn't know how to open. But Luz does, and she recovers the crown. Suddenly, the principal arrives, Lilith. Yes, in this version, Lilith was the principal of Hexside. She beheads Ida, transforms into a bat, and chases them throughout the school. Ida opens a portal for Luz and tells her to escape, but Luz stays to help Ida.
Luz tricks Lilith into entering the portal, but breaks the key in the process, leaving Lilith stranded in an unknown dimension and Luz trapped in the Boiling Isles. Ultimately, Luz opts to remain with Ida at the old house. However, the final moments reveal a shocking twist. Ida is revealed to be working for the Emperor, who demands her to hand over the human.
The Bible explains that Lilith also works for the Emperor. He ordered her to curse her own sister with an ancient spell, instead of the owl spell. To break her curse, Ida must deliver Luz's soul to the Emperor. This becomes a pivotal moment in their relationship, leaving it unclear whether Ida will betray Luz or not.
The Bible also introduces some secondary characters not featured in the pilot. First we have Sashli, Pasha and Bruno, who accidentally got trapped in the Boiling Isles through natural portals. The toxic diet of the place turned them into mutants. They survive by teaming up to defend themselves against the horrifying denizens of this new war. Pasha, the leader, tries to recruit Luz, but upon witnessing her cruelty towards other demons, Luz rejects them, turning them into enemies.
Originally, Hunter was conceived as a character named William, a 16th century English boy who fell into a deep sleep due to a spell, only to be accidentally awakened by Luz in the forest. Having lost much of his memory, William initially thinks Luz is a witch. Luz helps him adjust to this new world, as he must not only adapt to the present, but also to the strange and magical world of the Boiling Isles.
Eventually, Luz and William grow close, bonded by being the only humans in the Isles. William's memory slowly returns over the course of the series, eventually revealing that he is related to Oberon. Who is Oberon, you might wonder? Well, he is the early version of Velos.
The rightful ruler of the Demon Realm and the Boiling Isles is Emperor Pupa, an insect that is currently in his transformative pupa stage after being the Emperor larva. The only way he can communicate with the outside world is through wiggling and screaming. That's why he created a council of 3 trusted sorcerers to translate his sounds. One of them, Oberon, is so powerful that he has intimidated the other 2 counselors. Thus, he interprets the squeals however he wishes, effectively making himself the true emperor. In fact, Pupa should have emerged by now, but Oberon has been preventing it to fulfill his plan.
Turns out that Oberon is actually 500 years old and created the covens to control the witches. He plans to use their power to possess the body of the Titan and conquer both the human world and the demon realm. However, to achieve this, he needs a human soul. That's why he asks Ida to hand over Luz. news.
Lastly, the show's Bible has several ideas of episodes from this first version of the show, but the ones that stand out are Lord of the Grubs. Luz and King are sent to the market to pick up some milk, where she quickly makes fool of herself. Annoyed, King shoos her away. It's there that she encounters Pasha and his friends, who inform her that to join their human group, she must vanquish King.
The Demon King's men. King gets an invitation to his old gang's 50-year reunion and convinces Luz and Ida to pose as his minions so he doesn't seem that pathetic. However, the party turns out to be a trap to get revenge on Ida for dissolving the gang. King must decide whether to save his friends or rejoin the group.
The Onasamen Princess. Luz is obsessed with the Onasamen Princess. Ida discovers that the saga closely mirrors her own adventures. It turns out the author is a resentful ex-boyfriend of Ida's. Now she must prevent him from publishing the next book, which contains private information about her.
Regarding Star, a huge Bible containing loads of interesting information about previous rendition of the series was leaked. Marco was originally named Saul. Ponyhead attended St. Olga's Reform School and could detach her head, leaving her decapitated body behind at the school.
The lore was different. Dimensional scissors didn't exist, so the characters had to squeeze through reality's cracks to travel between dimensions. Upon arrival, the interdimensional space would close and they could appear anywhere in the other dimension. The only one with a secret passage was Ludo, who could travel more easily.
Concerning Toffee, it seems his backstory involving Moon hadn't been developed yet. He was the mastermind behind Ludo, treating it as a typical office job. He was very strict with his schedule, and since Ludo didn't want to pay overtime, Toffee only devoted exactly 40 hours a week, not even a second more. His free time was spent with his family, taking his son to soccer and going to the gym.
Marco's parents were the Juans, 3 doctors obsessed with Muni. They choose to move to Echo Creek due to its frequent leaks from Muni, and they are absolutely thrilled to have someone from Muni living in their home.
In regards to the other characters, Jackie and Oscar were originally going to be friends. Oscar would have a kind and gentle side. August had a crush on Star and would give her practical items, which Star would accept out of politeness, leading August to believe he was making progress with her. Ferguson also had a crush on Star. He was actually fond of monsters, and since Star fought against monsters, he admired her.
Marcos was Saul's cousin who took Star's place in the exchange. He was brave and calm, but Muni turned him into a nervous wreck. Margaret Bear served as the school's antagonist, a spiteful teacher who despised Star's magic and sought her expulsion. Frequently aligning with Brittany's prejudiced parents, they aimed to remove Star due to their racist beliefs.
An animatic of the pilot for Amphibia also leaked, although there are a few notable details. The pilot closely resembles the first 2 episodes of the series. In this version, Sprig had a different design and personality, being more cautious and responsible. In this episode, Spring and Anne learn to be friends as they confront a monstrous chicken.
The episode concluded with a short flash forward, teasing a glimpse of the confrontation between Anne and Sasha. Surprisingly, it revealed that Sasha had frog powers or something like that.
And those were the most notable things from the Disney leaks. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was truly challenging to condense so much information into such a short video, but if you want to learn more about the things leaked from the other series, let us know in the comments down below. We love you, bye!